Okay, Shobit, could you please introduce yourself quickly?
Yes. So yeah, my name is Shobit and I belong from Dehradun. So I completed my undergraduation from IIT Delhi in 2019, and I got a campus placement from there in Oyo Hotels and Private Limited.
Mhm.
So it's basically a hotel aggregator and hotel provider, and I'm working there as a business analyst from around 2 years and 3 months, and so there I work in data science team. We work on analysis, dashboarding, and machine learning projects also. And so this is about my work experience. And I, in my hobbies, I like to play badminton and watch Formula One sports. I follow.
Okay, so what kind of machine learning models you are making right now?
So I worked on a couple of projects in my work experience in the company. So I worked on a NLP project, basic NLP projects, in which we try to classify reviews provided by the users into four sections. That is tech category, or this is a service category, or this is a OTP related issues. So these are some categories we try to classify the user review, which we received on our platform page. This is one problem which I worked upon. I used TF-IDF vectorization and then a classification model on it. Second project I used on which I
What are
worked.
the different types of classification techniques?
So classification techniques you can use like k-means classification
What
in
is
the,
K-means classification?
so there are k-means classification basically means that you have a collection of data and you select k, that is you want in how many segments you want to distribute the data. So let's
How do
say,
you define K?
so k can be determined by some experimental analysis, like there is a method of elbow based method in which you plot the graph, elbow graph that is called, and you determine the at what point of k there is a maximum change in slope of the graph, and then you can determine the k value of it.
How does that algorithm work? What is the formula that it follows?
Uh, sorry, sir, I don't remember at this point.
Okay, no issues. Proceed. You were explaining.
But we have a predefined value of in how many categories we want to distribute our reviews. So as I mentioned, there were four categories. So I worked on that. We used TF-IDF model to basically convert our reviews in a vector form, and then we feed this. This into a model, and then we got the probability that this review is can be tagged to this particular category into basically four.
What kind of model exactly, and how did you get the probability out of it?
So you use TF-IDF to basically change into a vector, and then we apply a random forest classifier. So
How does it work?
so basically, we tried some basic three, four models. So there was a logistic regression model, which we tried, and then we tried random forest classifier. So and also a network method we use. So based on that, we found the best performance in random forest classifier. So random forest classifier basically means you are working on the base of a decision tree classifier. Decision tree classifier basically can be considered as a binary approach in which you classify that this value is less than, let's say, alpha. Then you can be categorized at okay, this property is greater than alpha. Like this is a model, tree based model, and you are uh,
How does
judging.
it classify one tree from another, one branch from another? How would you segregate? What is the formula for it?
Sorry, I didn't understand your question, sir.
In a decision tree,
Hmm.
how does it work? Like, how does it create branches? How will you understand? How does it understand, like, okay, this is the point that I have to create a node?
Okay, let's take an example of a candidate who is applying for an interview. So they
No, no,
can.
no, no. Let's not go there. So I want to understand the formula or the metric that we follow. Do you know what is information gain?
Information gain. So there is, I don't know about the information gain, but there is a concept of entropy in the decision tree.
What is entropy? How do you
Entropy.
define it?
Entropy is basically, sorry, sir, I don't remember about it.
Okay, let's come back. You were saying how random forest work,
Hmm. Yes,
right?
yes. So random forest basically works on the collection of multiple decision tree, whereas where on a single decision tree give a single output, in a random forest we take the aggregate of the random forest and as a majority vote class, we take the majority vote classifier of this. So let's say if a one decision tree is saying that this particular thing depend on this category, belongs to this category, we take the multiple like a democratic vote of all the random forests, all the decision trees.
What is okay, Shobit? What is bagging?
So bagging is basically like, okay, so bagging is we don't put all the features in the decision tree simultaneously. Each decision tree is independent to take a selected set of features and then it's then provide its vote. And then we in that and the bagging algorithm take the cumulative vote of all the random decision trees.
So bagging is by default included in random forest, is what you were explaining.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Um, I'm not sure about that.
Okay, let's proceed. After that, what happens?
What happens, sir? What?
After that, what happens? You were explaining, right?
Yeah, so based on that, we take the ensemble of or the all the votes of the decision trees, and then we calculate. Okay, so this review can be classified into all four buckets based on these probabilities. We take the probabilities of all the decision trees and
Mhm.
then compute. So basically, ensemble random forest basically helps us in ensembling the results. There is a law of large number that said that if the number of my decision trees increase, my error decreases because we are taking the average. So in short, basically, average decrease my error.
What is bias variance? Sorry, bias variance trade-off.
So bias variance trade-off is uh,
Why do we call it trade-off?
yeah, so there's a concept that I can only focus on one part. I can't just increase trade-off. This there has to be trade-off between bias and variance. I can't decrease my variance, and also expect my bias to be increased. So
Okay, so when you said ensembling random forest, what was it doing? Was it increasing variance or was it increasing bias?
so it was decreasing variance. It was decreasing my spread.
Increasing or decreasing?
It was decreasing the variance.
So
And
that means increasing bias.
yes,
Are you sure?
yes,
Not the other way around?
no. Because it's decreasing this variance is basically a variability of my distribution, and by ensembling I'm decreasing the variance of of my results of my random variable.
Okay, let's come back to the problem statement. Why were you using random forest?
So we tried and tested two three models I mentioned earlier, like we were using logistic regression model, and we tried a neural based method also. So the problem
What
with
was the problem statement? Why did you need these algorithms which are different from each other to predict something?
So the problem statement was that we have to classify reviews into
Hmm.
into some categories, and we we got reviews. Let's say 1,000 reviews we got from a
Hmm.
customer. Then we have then I have to try and test some algorithms which are different from another. So I can use like classical ML model, which are logistic regression or like random forest, or I can use neural technique methods. So the problem, so that's why I use different models.
How does neural network work?
Okay, so neural network method is basically okay. So neural network method basically takes the concept of neurons which is present in your mind. So we try to create a layer of neurons which can capture the basic dependency of each parameters on one another,
Hmm.
which we can't intuitively see. So let's say we have a two-layer neural method. So in
Okay.
of 50 neurons and 100 neurons, input and output. So what does this method will do, that it will try to connect all my input parameters to all these 50 neurons, and all those and then 50 to 100 and then 100 to output. And we initialize all these neuron with a random weight, or we can distribute initialize it using techniques. So weight are initialized.
What are hidden layers?
Sorry.
What are hidden layers?
So yeah, these are the hidden layers, the 50 and 100 which I mentioned. These are hidden layers.
Why do we call it hidden layer?
So
it could be a neuron as well.
A neuron is just a neuron. Layer is a collection of neuron. So in the first layer, the input layer, then second layer, which consists of 50 neurons, and each neuron is connected to each data points.
Now help me understand what is hidden layer.
Hidden layer. So my data is passing through the hidden layer, I will say. So
what happens inside it is what I want to know.
Okay. So what happens inside it, we pass the data from input layer to my output layer through these hidden layers, and we have initialized a random sample weights. Now,
what is sigmoid function?
Sigmoid function. Okay, sigmoid function is sigmoid function is e raised to the power of it's an activation function basically. So whatever value I got through the output of a neuron, I applied an activation function. The most common activation function used in neural network is sigmoid function. So what I do,
activation functions are there?
There are exponential function, there are 10H function, there are sigmoid function, and these are the commonly used activation function neural networks.
What is feed forward and like back propagation?
So this is the next part which I was explaining. So what happens is we pass the data through the in two steps. Like there's a feed forward and a feed backward. So when we pass the data through the initial starting to the next layer, we got an output, and through that output we used to measure the error rate. Now that let's say we have around 50 plus 150 neurons we have, and then corresponding to these 150 neurons we have weight and biases. So there is around 301 parameters. So we try to find the differentiation of error rate with respect to all these parameters, and we try to find the optimal value of all these weights. So one epoch is called the feed forward and then backward propagation. During this two forward and backward pass, I got my first optimum value of weight and biases. So if I just keep on doing this process iteratively, let's say 100 epochs and 150 epochs, I get my optimal value for which my error rate is minimized.
Yeah, please proceed.
So till which part I would consider?
First page only. First
page. Okay. So there are a lot written in first page too, right? So let me start with stochastic modeling. You have said, right, Markov chains. Are you confident with Markov chains?
Sorry?
Are you confident with Markov chains?
So it's actually a college project. I know some basic definition, but I'm not in depth of Markov chain. But yeah.
Okay, so let's keep it for now. Now let's consider very basic, right? What is precision and what is recall?
Okay. So precision is and recall are two my metrics to judge the quality of my classification model. Precision is basically at what accuracy I'm judging. Let's say I've made 100 classifications. Precision is basically what is the percentage accuracy of my those predictions. Let's say 100 out of those 100.
Let's consider. Tell me in terms of true positives and false positives and false negatives and true negatives.
Okay, so there's true positive, false positive, and true negative and false negative. So precision is basically true positive divided by true positive plus false negative.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's consider a particular case of a COVID kit. Okay, you're given a COVID kit, right? The COVID kit tells you whether it's a COVID positive patient or a COVID negative patient. And you know the ground truths. Okay.
Sorry, ground truths.
Yeah, ground truth, whether the particular person is actually COVID positive or actually COVID negative, right? You know them, but now here to test the COVID kit, right? Now prepare a confusion matrix, okay, and tell me and prepare the confusion matrix first, and just show me what, where are true positives, false negatives, and true negatives lie.
Okay. So do I have a value or something?
No, just you do the confusion matrix and denote all those four parts using true positives, false positives. Okay.
Um, so can you see more?
Yeah. Okay. So denote your x and y. Means what are you considering? Now, tell me which is your actual ground truth and what is your actual prediction zone. Which are you considering actual predictions, and
Okay.
what are you considering your ground truths? Other than that, this confusion matrix would mean nothing, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So tell me that.
So yeah.
Now ground truths, then okay, we can take it later. You can see it later. We would give you feedback. Okay, I got your point. Now you have written a data structure and algorithms. Okay, uh, you have done some courses, right? As I see. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I've done data structure algorithms.
Okay. Now, do you know about dynamic programming?
Uh, no, sir.
Okay.
So it's
Okay. No problem. You've written stochastic gradient descent.
yes, sir.
What do you mean by that?
So, sir, as stochastic gradient descent basic is a technique used to realize the optimal value of the parameters used in machine learning models. So, like
Are you
logic.
sure? Are you sure it's used in machine learning models in random forest?
Yes, sir. We can use SGD in random forest.
How do we use that?
So, so I don't know the inner working currently right now,
Okay.
but it can be used SGD in random forest.
Okay. What is cross validation?
So cross validation. So sir, let's say cross validation is basically technique used to divide the data in two parts, which is basically for the training part and for the validation part. And in the cross validation technique, let's say we have a k cross validation fold, and then we divide the data into k folds, and then took the k minus one fold for the training part, and then kth fold for the validation part, and then we permute all these folds. So when the final model is ready, we could test the data on a fresh data.
Okay. 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 So you have written. Okay. Let's move to statistics. Okay. So how do you rate yourself in statistics out of 10?
So currently around 6.5.
Okay.
By interview, I would be better.
Yeah. So, what is central limit theorem?
So central limit theorem is used to find the confidence interval of a random variable following some distribution. So let's say if I have a
So let's talk about what is confidence interval.
okay,
What is confidence interval?
the confidence interval is actually, so statistics revise करना है अभी.
Okay. Okay. What are the parameters of a Gaussian distribution?
Sorry.
Okay. Let's look at something else. Okay. So, what do you think? Where is India standing, right? With the current scenario with Taliban occupying Afghanistan, right? How do you feel about that? Means, what are the problems that we face by India?
So India has has a direct connection in the issues with the Taliban. So let me explain. So first is trade respective. We can see in that respect trade. So all our dry fruits which we eat in India, like khajur and kishmish, all these things. So these comes from Afghanistan area. So following the Taliban issue, the trade was affected seriously. The rates in the Delhi markets increased like by 5 and 10%, and the traders were trade. The trade was disrupted basically for a significant period, and it is disrupted now also. So this is the trade part. Second is the geopolitical tension, if we can say. Like China is seeing this an opportunity to form a good ties with Taliban and form a pressure on India from the both sides, from the China side and from the Taliban side. And Taliban has also said that it want to establish good ties with China. So these are some geopolitical issue which India need to consider, and also the flow of terrorists from Taliban to India, which could happen uh, through the intake of the refugees or through the Pakistan borders.
Okay. What are your hobbies?
So I watch Formula One. I am a avid follower of Formula One races, and I also like to play badminton in my free time.
Badminton. Okay. So, how many golds India has won in Tokyo 2020 Olympics?
Sorry,
How many gold medals India has won in Tokyo 2020 Olympics?
Tokyo 20 one gold medal, one
And
individual.
what are the medal stats for the other bronze and silver?
So we won 2 silvers and 3 bronze.
Are you sure? In which sports?
Okay, so in wrestling, we won one silver, and in bronze category, we won in wrestling we won, and badminton of PV Sindhu, and one silver also of Mirabai Chanu. So 2 silvers, one badminton. Sorry, 2 silvers in Mirabai Chanu weightlifting, and then in wrestling category.
So three. So three in silver, right?
So 2 in silver,
Okay.
one
Pardon
gold,
again. One gold,
2 silver.
two silver. Two silver goes to
Mirabai Chanu,
and
and then a wrestler. I think Punia or there was
Bajrang
a
Punia.
sorry.
Bajrang Punia.
No, sir, not Bajrang Punia. The
Then
other wrestler. I just don't remember his name. Uh, so I don't remember his name, but he's not Bajrang Punia. Bajrang Punia won the bronze medal,
yeah.
and
And
a hockey team won the bronze medal,
mhm.
and and PV Sindhu won the bronze medal.
Okay. And what about Paralympics?
Uh, Paralympics, we have so I don't remember the stats of the Paralympics right now, but I know that we have won around 3 gold, and exact नहीं पता. I don't know the exact value.
Any gold stats that you know in Paralympics?
In shooting, we have got a gold medal in
Javelin?
Olympics, and in javelin we have got, and also in badminton. In badminton, we have got, I think, yes, badminton we have got a gold
Gold or
medal.
silver?
Gold, gold.
Okay.
Yesterday only, I believe we got a gold.
Okay, Nitin, it's done from my end. We can go to feedback session.